Today on the newscast, the head of the UN's atomic watchdog says that any strike against a nuclear installation is outlawed. What does that mean for Israel and Iran? And what does Benjamin Netanyahu have to say about it? Find out next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. A very busy weekend regarding Iran's nuclear program. The head of the UN's atomic watchdog agency, his name is Rafael Grossi, and he heads up the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA for short. He visited Tehran for 2 days, where he met with top Iranian officials, including Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi, also known as the Butcher of Tehran, and for good reason. It seems that Rafael Grossi emerged from these meetings with Iran's mullahs very encouraged about the future status of Iran's nuclear program and Iran's transparency regarding it all. He also had some very troubling statements that caught the attention of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Find out what exactly Grossi said and how Bibi responded in a minute. Up first, just a quick reminder, if you have not subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the Watchman News channel right here on YouTube and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. Folks, we are covering the stories that the mainstream media is ignoring, so we would love to have you here with us as watchmen and women on the wall for such a time as this. A lot going on in the world's most chaotic and strategic region, the Middle East, and we break down what it all means and how it affects you, no matter where you live, so be sure to subscribe. Okay, let's get into it. Rafael Grossi, is this peace in our time? Where have we heard that before? He came out of this meeting with Raisi and others over the weekend very encouraged, and he held a press conference on Saturday, March 4th, in which he said a few things. Number one, that Iran would now be more compliant. They are going to allow cameras back inside of their nuclear installations. How nice. The IAEA cameras will apparently be in full operation once again, at least at select sites. Remember, Iran's nuclear facilities are scattered throughout the country, and it is a very large country. Iran is sits upon a very large land mass. That's number one. Number two, apparently the Iranian regime just generally is going to be more in compliance with UN regulations, and in particular, UN inspections. When it comes to all of that, folks, I'll believe it when I see it. We have heard this all before. The old saying, fool me twice. And the ironic thing here is Rafael Grossi has been pretty forthright about the Iranian nuclear threat over the past few years. He's made statements saying, look, folks, they are very close to having the bomb. Something needs to be done. That's why I'm scratching my head. And certainly Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli officials were scratching their heads about comments Grossi made over the weekend on Saturday, March 4th, in the context of him talking about these great, apparently fruitful talks with Iranian officials. He also said, and I quote, "Any strike against a nuclear facility is outlawed and does not," and I'm paraphrasing here, "and does not fit with basically the norms of polite society." It was the essence of what Rafael Grossi said. But any strike against a nuclear facility is outlawed? Folks, read between the lines. It's not too hard to understand. Number one, when he's talking about a strike against nuclear facilities, clearly he's talking about Iran's nuclear facilities, and clearly he's addressing Israel. He didn't have to mention the players. We all know who Rafael Grossi was talking about. Why would he say that? Well, number one, he knows Iran's driving for the bomb. Number two, he knows it's an existential threat to the existence of the state of Israel, not to mention the entire region and the world ultimately. Grossi knows all of this, and he also knows that Benjamin Netanyahu means business. He has said time and time again, we will not allow Iran to acquire the bomb, and if we need to resort to the military option, we will have to unfortunately do that to preserve the existence of the world's one and only Jewish state. So, in my view, wildly irresponsible and short-sighted for Rafael Grossi to say that. It appears that Benjamin Netanyahu agrees, not surprisingly, of course. Here's what he said. I'm going to read it from my phone and just quote him directly. And he was none too happy, folks. He said, and I quote, "Rafael Grossi is a worthy person who made an unworthy remark. Outside of what law," he asked, "can we not strike? Is Iran, which publicly calls for our destruction, is it to protect its weapons of destruction that will slaughter us? Are we forbidden to defend ourselves?" Netanyahu continued. "Of course we are allowed, and of course we are doing this. Nothing will prevent us from protecting our country and preventing oppressors from destroying the Jewish state." Game, set, match. So hopefully point taken by Rafael Grossi, again, to tell Israel, in so many words, again, he didn't have to mention Israel or Iran. We all know what he was talking about. To tell Israel, don't you dare strike Iran's nuclear facilities. Instead, Israel, allow a regime committed to your destruction to acquire those weapons. Guess what, folks? If Iran went nuclear, and I firmly believe Israel will not allow that to happen, and Rafael Grossi knows that, and by the way, the U.S. knows that. That's one of the reasons you saw Mark Milley, the U.S. General Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, in Israel over the past week. There are serious concerns among the Biden administration that Israel may just act against Iran. Hey, we had a U.S. official testify last week that Iran is likely just 12 days away from having enough material to develop at least one bomb. And we know that the IAEA has said even that Iran is enriching uranium, at least at one site, to up to 84%. Not to get too in the weeds, know this. When you enrich uranium at a 90% level, that is weapons grade. That is the level where you can start producing nuclear weapons. Based on the Iranian regime's statements, they would use the bomb against Israel. Folks, it is a central pillar of the Iranian regime's ideology to wipe Israel off the map. It is a driving force behind their entire rationale for existence. I've said it before, I'll say it again today. What I do is not brain surgery. I simply observe and listen to the statements of Iran's leaders, and I believe them. And if the 20th century taught us anything, the century of Mao, Saddam, Hitler, and Stalin, it's that when evil men tell you they want to kill you, you should indeed listen to them and take them at their word. I don't believe what the Iranian regime is saying about Israel, or America for that matter, is just bluster for domestic consumption. Neither does Benjamin Netanyahu, no matter what Rafael Grossi and the UN say about an outlaw against a strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. No one wants to see it. It's an absolute last resort. But again, it all falls on Israel's shoulders, much as it did in 1981 when Israel struck Saddam Hussein's nuclear reactor, and much as it did in 2007 when Israel eliminated Syria's nuclear reactor. Do you sense a pattern there? When a hostile neighbor begins to develop nuclear weapons, Israel acts preemptively. Iran has certainly noticed that. So has the UN. Everyone knows the stakes. Everyone with common sense knows Israel's not going to sit on the sidelines and watch this all happen. Collision course, folks. Fasten your seatbelts. Stay in prayer. Again, no one wants to see this, but here on The Watchman, we are very realistic. It's not pie in the sky, and we think you'd rather know than not know, and that's why you tune into the channel. So we will keep bringing you real news from a biblical perspective for such a time as this. Again, continue to keep this in prayer. The God of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. So at the end of the day, I think Israel is in very good shape, although certainly the wolves are at the door. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here today on the Watchman Newscast. Until tomorrow, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload, and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.